So a separate issue related to police, right, is that outside of their issues facing the community and so on, right, there's also this internal police culture issue that impacts really a lot of like what we say and think about, like police and like what ends up happening with them, right? So police, right, have tremendous power with their ability to arrest and alter and use force and things like that, right, in their decision making, right. So they have this tremendous power, and they have a job that really has like little oversight. When your job is basically to be pretty much everywhere, anywhere, all the time, right. What ends up happening is that you want to preserve your freedom. Because who would want to give that up, right? So you get a paycheck, you're always kind of doing your job as long as you're patrolling around. You can stop and do errands. People, some people respect you. You get little freebies and stuff like that, right? But at the same time, right, you are charged with dealing with people on their worst possible days. Dealing with bad people or people who are having not a great time, right? There is a threat to your life. There's that of course is like a risk to keep in mind, right? And it is potentially dangerous because of that, right? So it's something that there is this preservation issue of wanting to keep your power and also feel protected and safe, right? And so what ends up happening is that, during the course of like a police training or something like that, a few common themes like pop up, right? And so there is this mentality that, there is, let's see, it's like us versus them. I should probably pick a different color. I didn't, right? So, you're fighting against, like criminals who are out to get you and protect you. You gotta protect yourself because no one else is going to, right? And so there's this, kinsmanship with, your fellow officers that they're going to look out for you, protect you, because when you need something, they're going to be there for backup. So it creates, like this sort of like loyalty to the badge kind of situation, right? So at the same time is that the thing is, because police have consequential decisions, pick a different color, consequential decisions, what ends up happening is that you want to preserve that power, but if you look too closely, it could be bad. So you may have to, sacrifice someone. You may have to not sacrifice, but I mean, like, I guess there could be a liability issue, right, or something like that. So you have to, bend the rules, occasionally to get these bad people because you're doing the noble and forthright thing. To make sure that crime does not exist in your community, right? And so there's also this belief then that the public is not supportive of your efforts. You want to maintain your autonomy above all else, because this is super key in making sure that you can keep doing your job, you can keep the freedoms associated with that. What this ends up creating, though, right, is that, there is this pressure to not sell out your homies if you see something wrong, because maybe they're not going to look up for you because they demand this kind of loyalty in place, right? So there's this pressure to not sell out in order to keep getting protection. It's clear that people who have reported something like, they'll have rats that are put underneath their windshield wipers. They're not going to, of their car. They're not going to have people answer your backup calls if you need something. Maybe they'll also rat you out. There's a lot of consequences to reporting police misbehavior for you as an officer. So that creates a situation that's not good. Also, allows, misbehavior to continue. If you have this mentality that's us versus them, and you can't always trust the court system to help you out, then allowing that then, lets it continue. It's unchecked, and people don't know what to say or do in order to succeed. Say or do when they observe misbehavior, so that it's allowed to happen, right? So in a way, there's this enabling factor that happens. So when this, when we have this enabling factor, then, we have this issue coming into place, then maybe not so good, right? Maybe not so good. So, this police culture thing where, they believe that they're the one thing protecting society, where they believe that they have to look out for each other, where they're not going to do anything to prevent it, is pretty consequential, and it contributes a lot to allowing misbehavior to continue. Because if there's no accountability system, then why stop? Yeah, it'd be interesting if you guys were kind of discussing amongst yourself, like, what could you do to check misbehavior, to hold people, officers, accountable, and why do existing measures not work?